What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at Data Dash, and today is November 30th of 2019. Well, folks, I hope you are having a fantastic day wherever you are. And today we're going to be doing our weekly macro report, as I will be gone on Sunday. We're going to be taking a look at cryptocurrency markets, taking a look at precious metals like gold and silver, as well as cannabis companies, as we're getting very, very close to potentially finding and discovering a bottom in cannabis markets. We've remained patient on a lot of these different sectors, so we'll be diving into it all much more in just a moment. But I want to let you all know about two things. We've not only got a sponsor for today's video, and that is Etoro. Now, for those of you who don't know, Etoro is a social trading platform that allows you to trade alongside other individuals in cryptocurrency markets. And they just recently launched their copy trader feature, which allows you to copy alongside a variety of traders. So you can not only check their stats, check their current portfolio, and check their performance over time, but you can also copy alongside them trading real time at the same price range and same time as they do. So if you guys are interested, check out the link down below. And outside of that as well, I just wanted to mention to you guys that at the end of the video, we're going to be having an interview. It's not sponsored. It's just an interview with Cynthia from Altcoin Fantasy, who's an individual I've gotten to meet over the last few months. She's really sweet, and she's actually helping to head up an operation to do a charity event in the cryptocurrency space with a lot of prizes, but also helping a lot of great causes, some of which I'm a huge fan of personally. So if you guys want to find out some more information about that, how you can donate and help out during the holiday season, stay tuned towards the end of the video. But let's go ahead and dive into taking a look at the market. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look across the board if you guys are interested in cryptocurrency markets at the moment. I think we're in a general no trend scenario for the most part, between 1 to 2% to the upside or downside for most plays. However, market valuations have declined a slight bit, as the majority of any kind of serious price action is really on the downside now. But again, nothing too serious. If we take a look here at the last 7 days, valuations have dropped about $3 billion max. We're still in that kind of support range, and where we're looking for price to kind of weigh in around $200 billion to solidify this 2x support from where we were back in December of 2018. Right, we'll go ahead and just kind of highlight that right down here. So around $100 billion is really where we found the bottom. So we're doubling that big $1 billion even level in that case, to keep in mind. So again, I think that's something we need as a little bit of perspective, guys. I mean, for the market to have doubled from that area, not to mention in the span of time that we've been in, I think it's pretty amazing. I know it's not crypto market kind of, rebounds, but the thing is, we entered out of the accumulation phase so quickly. I think we really need to apply that perspective. I know I've kind of hawked that in my previous videos. I've been pushing that 24/7, but it's a really good point to have, right? Yes, the price action right now is not extremely exuberant. Well, of course, because we haven't entered into the next cycle yet, right? We haven't exited past 20,000 and entered into the phase where both institutions and retail investors really start getting involved, right? We are the very few that actually know about this market and are active in it and know that this is setting up for the next cycle. If you're here right now, you're not like many people. That's a good thing. It's a very, very good thing. But anyways, taking a look here, we can see market dominance not shifting too much. And we'll keep an eye on it and everything. But I got to say right now, the thing I'm looking at is Bitcoin's price. Bitcoin's price is looking pretty good now. Our weekly indicators are not flashing much as of yet. The stochastic RSI, both lines are divvying on the bottom part of the neutral channel here. We also have as well, even though divergence is declining, the MACD still nowhere near cross, and then also the squeeze momentum indicator still setting lows on the weekly. However, on the daily, I got to say this is looking quite nice. I do like the multi-day rally here. I like how there are some breaks in between, and it tends to be that after a 24-hour period, we have another candle that starts to continue that. This is not what a dead cat bounce looks like to me, guys. A dead cat bounce from again, I'm not saying that it can't be that. We haven't gotten a full-on confirmation that this is going to be a full-fledged rally. I'd say the biggest criticism is volume, right? We're not seeing much volume come through. But I will say that in the sense of this being a dead cat bounce, this isn't what it looks like to me usually. Usually you'll spot a dead cat bounce pretty easily, and it's usually when you have a pretty fast rebound on a daily candle, or maybe within a 48-hour period, so 1 or 2 days. And in this case, it fades over very quickly, right? This is a multi-day, increase in price, about $1,000. It's pretty significant. And we'll see if it can hold up here. I think the most important thing for it to do would be to continue up here to around 8,400, hit previous resistance, so this general kind of range here, make support at the bottom part of this kind of channel where price was hovering between around the low $7,000 range and then the upper $8,400 range. I'd really like to see it at like a big even like 8,000. That'd be really good. And then be able to continue higher there, right? Small correction, continuation of the rally upwards. So that's what I'm looking for. Again, all the daily indicators are looking good here, but I usually don't use it on the daily time frame. I look for the weekly, and so far we haven't gotten all of them coming through. But when those start to flash, we can get much more confident in knowing where the market is likely going in that case. Again, not foolproof, but it's I think it's a good suite of indicators, and we're still working on getting the SMS strategy, which merges all these indicators into one. All right. So let's go ahead here. We'll take a look at a few data science models here for Bitcoin, and then we'll dive into gold and silver. Again, taking a look at the 2-year MA multiplier, very simple indicator. Green line is the 2-year moving average, basically takes the closing price of the last 2 years and combines them at the current date of time, and then also has a 5-year multiple of that for a good indicator of when to sell, right? 5 times the value at any given period of time. Now, interestingly enough, what was looking a little bit scary at first back a few weeks ago, or really back about a week ago, is now actually started to close up. We're actually getting right back to generally hovering around that line of support. Now, a lot of people would say this is a huge divvy, and in the sense of like the sense of price, this $1,000 divergence not only is the biggest spread that we've had, coming back down after we've exited the accumulation phase, but along with that, it's a little bit more than on other periods of time, right? If we take a look back here. Oops, let me actually see if I can get it so you guys can see it well. There we go. So we can see here that the spread was likely much smaller in this case for most periods of time, right? 390 to 370, definitely a little bit smaller of a spread. But even though we've seen this consistency, right, we have seen not only a decline and a dip. Sorry, I keep drawing on the chart improperly. There we go. Even though the spread might be smaller here, you can see that it not only has happened in previous cycles that we dip below here slightly, but the other thing to keep in mind, again, as I will continue exaggerating, the accumulation phase was so small, guys. And on such a scaled market like we're at right now, to have this kind of fast parabolic rally where we had one of the fastest exits out of the accumulation phase and one of the strongest exits out of the accumulation phase in such a short period of time, it makes sense, right? It's good to see that prices hovering around here. It's good to see that when we take a look at the stock to flow model, these data science models are showing us we're not far off from where we should be at this period of time. It's not that scary. It's not that bearish, right? So that's my general point here, right? We've come down here to the 2-year multiplier after exiting out of the accumulation phase every single time. And along with that, we're really not far off from what we've seen historically. So long as we hold around this price range, so long as we continue increasing, this is a good sign to me personally. And outside of this as well, we've got, for example, the MV RVZ score, which basically takes the difference between market cap and realized cap and divides it by the standard deviation of market cap. Long story short, you generally use this to find the bottoms in markets, right? We can see here that anytime we enter into this green channel, and also sometimes, usually to be even more specific, when we dip out of the green channel down here, that's usually when we find an absolute market bottom. But it's also really good here to get some ideas of where we are as we're exiting out of that accumulation phase. And we can see here that both times we have a rally up here to above the 2-point range. We can see we did it over here. We did it over here. We also did it over here. And again, this I think really signifies here the basic showing the difference here of the market cap to realized cap over the standard deviation of market cap really showcases that this time around we had an over exuberant rally. We went over the average height that we had here over the last 2 cycles, right? Whereas these were 2 very similar periods of time. In this case, we've actually had a very exacerbated one, and so early on. I mean, these highs up here were set much later in the cycle. You can see, and we're really in the equivalent phase of price action right here, where the Z-score is down here, right? So, again, keeping in mind here, guys, that we were in a pretty over-exaggerated set of price action. And down here, I get interested around this range because, again, this is actually lower. It is technically, well, if you were to take the actual low here, 0.45, we actually set a new low in this case, which shows in this case we're likely oversold in some degree. So that's what gets me excited. Again, just taking a look at these consistent data science models, seeing what it can tell us, and I think it's very fascinating. So if you want to actually look at the real indicator kind of merge here, we have the blue line, which is market cap, orange line, which is realized cap. So it's basically taking the market valuation of when those coins were last realized, right? All the Bitcoin in circulation, when were they last spent, and what was the price for those Bitcoin, right? So it gives us a number of realized cap, and you can see the value over time. It's very fascinating. It's a good indicator. The Paul multiple as well, another data science model taking daily Bitcoin issuance divided by the average over the last year of daily Bitcoin issuance in USD. And we can see here, again, with all these cycles, we tend to come up around this 2-point range, right? We did it over here and we did it over here. It's not too different from history, right? And it's really good as well, as you can see here, picking these bottoms down here. Usually when we get to 0.3, that's usually when the cycle has come to a close, or at least the bear market of the last phase of the cycle, right? So now we're just going through one of those, again, those exits of the accumulation. Again, we have that period where it rallies like this as it has in the past, and right now we're pretty much towards the bottom range in this case, right? Around this range of 0.7 to 0.8, this is generally what we want to be looking for. This is the range where we should not be getting bearish, at least according to history. This is where price starts to move higher, right? We can see that both periods of time here where we started to enter into the next cycle. And again, it might take a little bit longer, guys. I'm not trying to oversell or misinterpret these data science models. This is just generally what history shows us. And again, Bitcoin doesn't have a very long history, but you can either go off of just pure TA and guessing against algorithms and all these crazy things in the very short term, or you can use these data science models to give you some perspective of where we are right now, right? And to not worry so much about what price is saying, because price tells us a lot, but if you're looking at a narrow time frame, price won't tell you much. These data science models help you interpret price to a very strong degree, right? Anyways, I'm rambling on enough, guys, about Bitcoin. You guys already know where I stand and stuff. At these kind of periods of time, I get bullish personally. I love that in this case, we've had a nice weekly rally. And I'll actually take it back to a degree. The volume's not bad. It's actually outpacing a lot of weeks of volume here on the downside. But the key point I want to make across here is I want to set some high standards here, right? We've got 2 other days here for the week. So who knows, we actually might get one of the higher weeks here like we got back here in October. But I want to set a high standard here. We need to see volume picking up back into markets across not only just here on Coinbase, but BLX, which takes a lot of the major liquid exchanges for crypto. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and we'll take a look at precious metals, gold. I'm very much looking for 2 simple things, guys. I want this to come down to 1400, nice big even, not to mention a very significant level in the past. Resistance multiple times here, not to mention as well, previous support 2 times. We've seen it play as resistance 3 times, generally speaking, for gold, right over here, here, and here. And we've also seen it support here and here. And I'd like to come down and make it a 3rd time, make support for a 3rd time here at 1400. Not to mention, the second thing I'm looking for is for our indicators to flash. They're not giving me any signs to get optimistic right now. Precious metals have been on a slight decline and have really lost a lot of their kind of mojo from over the last year. Ever since, equities have been continuing to spike because it's become clear that central bank policy is going to keep propping up assets. So as much as I like gold and silver for like the next year or 2, I don't know if I'm too eager to get in it just this moment, right? I'm waiting for it to come down to these nice levels, have another $60 correction here for gold, and getting it not only at a discount, but buying it at a time where it's much more likely to start actually making some movement afterwards, okay? So very simple analysis, right? I'm still confident on gold. We got above the long-term resistance line here. We made it support. It's very clear. Gold is in a bull market in the longer-term time frames. But in the short term, I think we're having a much more extended correction. This was what I had originally intended on. And what I was worried was not going to happen when we started to have some of these kind of green weeks back here. But this week very much solidified that. It continued the trend here. For all of our indicators, the divergence is growing on the MACD, stochastic RSI, squeeze momentum, all pointing to lower levels here. All right. Now, silver is one of the trickier ones. All right, silver moves very sudden. It basically follows the trend of gold, but it usually exacerbates the kind of runs of gold. And we'll talk about the gold to silver ratio in just a moment. But anywhere generally in this range, guys, anywhere from $17 to $16. Look, if you're playing this for the long term, right? Me personally. Again, I'm not like too eager to make any positions here. The more we get down towards this lower range, though, and test on this previous line of resistance, this declining parabolic line, right? You can see here that it played out over time as a very key level of resistance. I think we're going to likely come down and make support on this, which would be a 70-cent sell-off on silver. But I think it's going to be very quick. And after that, we're going to get a pretty sharp rebound off there. We just have to likely make it support. That being realized, anywhere in this range, right, is a range for me personally to add. I just haven't made any eager positions in precious metals just as yet. I've got some physical ones that I own, but nothing too severe in that case, nothing that's substantial in the size of my portfolio. But it's the first area that I want to diversify into out of any market. And I will be looking to possibly add in this range. And then after we get out of $17, I think that's when we really pick up for the next part of the cycle. Now, taking a real quick look at the gold to silver ratio, then we'll take a look at cannabis markets. You can see here that it looks like it's likely for the gold to silver ratio to start turning over again. If you were to look at this in a TA sense, this would be an ascending wedge, right? At the rising highs, rising lows. This just generally looks like it's going to break down here and continue to give silver more room to grow. Now, the thing you want to look for, though, is a reversal on these indicators. The MACD already looks pretty weak. Stochastic RSI looks like it's ready to top over, right? Some of the indicators are giving us some early warning signs, but we don't have enough to be completely confident just as of yet. We're just generally on the higher range here. And our target range over 2021, 2022 is down in this range here in the 30 range, right? We're up here at 86. So 86 ounces of silver for every ounce of gold. I think you're going to get down to 32 ounces of silver for every 1 ounce of gold, which means that silver's got a lot of room to grow comparative to gold if precious metal markets take off. That's the general idea. All right, so let's go ahead here. We'll take a look at some of the cannabis companies. CGC, right? Now, there was a big week here for cannabis markets. A lot of cannabis companies saw record weekly volume for a long period of time, and they saw some pretty good price action. I'm going to take a look, obviously, on the weekly, guys, but I want to take a look at the daily just to help you digest it a little bit more. CGC is one of the anomalies here that actually held its price action. And the reason why I want to open up on the daily here is just kind of to drill that point and why I think we're not at the absolute bottom just yet. Aurora Cannabis, for example, right? Faded most of its gains here. It's only up a few cents from the previous low. Take a look at Kronos Group. Like most of the rallies, fades out very quickly. And to me, this is not a good sign to see, guys. I don't like to pick up these cannabis companies when they're going to fade out their gains this quickly, right? Take a look at Tilray, right back down to the bottom, right? So I want to see it hold down at this range for a little bit longer, not to mention I still think we need to see the full 80% retracement, right? I will take a look at the weekly here just real quick to kind of signify this, the momentum. I think out of all plays here, maybe Tilray is probably one of the few exceptions. But if you take a look at Kronos Group, right, indicator still hasn't gotten a reversal yet. The squeeze momentum indicator still choppy, going in and out of higher and lower weeks. And if you take a look as well at Aurora Cannabis, right, same exact thing. But all of them are very close to getting towards an 80% correction, which is what I'm looking for. Now, to take a look at the broader indexes, we just don't have much price data to work with, guys, but New Cannabis Ventures still is one of the best ones to look at, and I recommend you take a look at the Canadian Cannabis LP Index. Canada is one of the best indexes right now. It's where most of the value is in the market, and you're not getting mixed in with a lot of random penny stocks and things that are going to mess up your perception of where the cannabis market really is, right? These are the broader investments that we're looking at. And right now, we're at 400 on the index, right? We're looking generally to get back in this range of 350 to 400, right? So I think we're very close, right? I think we've got one more corrective period, one short-term corrective period. And then after that, we're just going to hold down in this range from 350 to 400 for a long time. And after that, it's a matter of waiting for our indicators to flip, for the momentum to showcase itself in price, and for us to get confident that the next cycle has started. But as you all know, with crypto markets, even in a fast-paced market like crypto, it's usually that we have a period of time where we just push sideways, right? And when markets are moving sideways, again, it can be, for those of you who are more long-term, you don't really care. So you think, honestly, maybe even if it's moving sideways, it's better than having it in another market where it's losing value or in the dollar, right, whatever. But at the end of the day, we look for when the trend starts. And that's when we start making big moves. But again, if you think that's a valuable range to add on these cannabis companies, so be it, guys. You guys going to make that decision for yourself, as you always have to, because as always, guys, this is just me providing my perspective. It's not financial advice to any degree, but these are the different markets that I'm looking at. This is my general feel. For summary, cannabis markets, I'm looking for something in maybe Q1 or Q2 of 2020. I'm getting very interested at these levels. For Bitcoin, data science models are looking good. We're exactly in line with where we should be time frame wise, and we've repeated a very similar set of price action, and not only a similar set of price action, but a similar set of values in the sense of all these data science models in previous cycles. And in the sense of gold and silver, right? Gold and silver slowly but surely coming down to correction zones that we've been waiting for a long time. And again, with the gold to silver ratio, we're repeating history. We're in a clear sign that we've reached a bottom in precious metal markets, but it's just a matter of waiting until we really get that trend going here, right? That's going to happen likely, a few years out from where we are right now, right? Where gold might lead the market pretty well, and silver really starts to play catch up. At least that's what we've seen historically. Anyways, hope you guys are doing well wherever you are. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Now, I want to let you all know that we've got an exciting interview here right now with Cynthia, who has been heading up this awesome charity event that I hinted to earlier. So let's go ahead and jump into this awesome interview with Cynthia to learn more about how we're helping with this charity event. Alrighty, everyone. So in today's interview, I'm going to be sitting down with Cynthia, who is the founder of Altcoin Fantasy. And Cynthia and I have been good friends for some time. We've been keeping communication over the last few months as her and my dad got introduced to one another. So Cynthia, I not only am really happy to have you here so we can talk a little bit about Altcoin Fantasy, but also talk about the initiative that my dad as well as you have been kind of heading up in this case of doing a charity event towards the holidays. So first off, I just want to say thank you for making the time. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you've come from, what got you into crypto, and what led you to creating Altcoin Fantasy.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me, Nick. I'm so glad that we actually got a chance to meet when we were in Singapore, and I'm really excited about this new initiative that we're putting together. So myself, I actually got into crypto because a friend of mine was investing very heavily into Bitcoin in 2017, and I had done a little bit of research at that time, was kind of helping him buy some, and then early 2018 he lost a lot of that money, and so kind of felt a little bit personally responsible, and then my co-founder and I decided to actually start this game just kind of for fun to help people learn about crypto and crypto trading and get them into the space in a fun and different way. And it started more of a side project, and then because people really loved it, we had people that were telling us that they were playing it 12 plus hours a day, which I was like, oh my gosh, what are you doing with your life if you can spend 12 hours a day on this? So it kind of evolved from there, and now we're doing it full time, and it's been really awesome. And then, of course, the charity initiative we're doing because we know that people really love the idea of having fun and, gamification. And so Jeff and I decided to do this charity competition where, because now it's coming up to Christmas and there's a lot of people in need, we wanted to give back to the community and give back to the world to try and do some good. So we're launching this charity tournament, and we're working with a lot of co-sponsors who have been very generous. They are donating prizes towards the tournament, but also putting in money towards the donation for all these charities as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know there's a lot of things we want to talk about, Cynthia, but I think it's such an interesting story how that kind of journey of seeing your friend enter into this crazy new space led him to end up losing money. And that's one thing that we always talk about on the channel, not stepping into trading too quick, making sure to practice paper trading. Not to mention as well, if you're going to start with a sizable portfolio, and then along with that as well, compare to how you would do over the long term. That's another key principle we always preach. But so in the case of Altcoin Fantasy, in this case, you're basically gamifying, testing on trading in this case, giving people an ability to kind of step into the arena without having to put up any money in this case, just for free and just for fun in that case.
Exactly. Yeah. So, one of the things that we found was that people really love the gamification aspect of it. So although there's a lot of exchanges that might have demo accounts or something similar to that respect, like more of the paper trading aspect, it's not quite the same because it's still very one-dimensional. People come and they kind of maybe make a few trades, but then it's not very engaging, so people don't stay. And then I think it doesn't keep people coming back. Whereas with what we've built, because it's much more social, it's fun and interactive, and there's always different elements to it because we're making new releases all the time, there's a reason for people to keep coming back beyond just the education, but for the entertainment value as well. And so kind of like you said, de-risking that whole approach to crypto and crypto trading because, we want to make it approachable. All of the language that we use is super simple. You don't need a PhD or a technical background to, understand our articles or to do some of the research on our site. And then, we just make it really fun for people to want to come and learn from others.
Awesome. Yeah, one of the biggest criticisms I always kind of hawk, I guess, the general community on, including myself, is that whether it comes to trading or if you're talking about the tech behind this industry, we tend to think that people will just get the complex lingo right away. So it's all about trying to break down those barriers, keeping it simple, and then over time, of course, educating them. And I think that's cool that, you guys, in a sense, with Altcoin Fantasy, have this place where people can experiment and test out trading strategies, but they can also learn about the space. There's education, there's a social element to it, which I think is really cool. And you guys are basically kind of spearheading with the platform of Altcoin Fantasy, you're doing this awesome charity initiative, again, showing that crypto can give back. And I think it's awesome, especially during this time of the year. So what are some of the things that you guys are aiming to do with the charity event, and how can people help?
Yeah, so for, I think, as you know, I think a lot of the narrative in crypto has been that, there's a lot of scams, there's a lot of bad press, but I think that there's a lot of great people and a lot of great projects in the space. And, for example, like you and I have been chatting for the last year, and we've been able to meet all these really awesome people. And so we want to try to change that narrative around crypto to bring all these great people together and actually do good, because we're all fortunate to be able to pursue the things that we want to do and trying to make crypto adoption happen. And so we want to take the good and try and do more good in the world by donating towards these awesome charities. And so there's 4 charities that we're supporting. It's Shriners Hospital for Children, Trees for the Future, Ocean Conservancy, and then Binance Charity.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I know a few of those and stuff. Shriners Hospital, as well as Trees for the Future, is actually, I think, one of the first charities I ever donated to. It was a pick of mine and stuff that I contribute because I love the environmental aspect of it, the economic development that it does, socioeconomic for a lot of developing farmers. So I think it's really cool. It's a good basket of charities. And I know you, for example, were really big on the Ocean Conservancy in this case for the environmental aspect. And then I guess in the sense with Binance Charity as well, a good addition in the cryptocurrency space. Binance has been doing a lot of efforts in this case to spread the word about actually not only just giving, but also as well being able to help onboard people into the cryptocurrency ecosystem, showing them how to set up wallets. And I think that's so cool. It's better than just simply doing charity work.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think, it's really awesome to see what they're doing. They're doing, obviously, the charity and trying to make donations more transparent. But like you said, I think they're doing a lot on the education front and also the fiat to crypto on-ramp. Which is awesome because that's basically what we need. We need more people and more access into crypto.
Absolutely. So you mentioned Binance here as one of the charities we're focusing on, and I guess one of the companies that's been really pushing for this. Who are some of the projects that we have right now that are working on the charity? I know we just talked the other day and stuff, but have there been any new names, or have there been some names that people should know about?
Yeah, so we have some really great co-sponsors. Our media co-sponsors are EAK Digital and Crypto Daily, and then we have NEO, which is obviously a very well-known project. We have Pillar, we have Dapper Lab, which is the creator of CryptoKitties. We just have a ton of really, really amazing projects on board, and we're super excited to be working with them because we can help leverage their communities as well to try and get as many donations as possible towards this charity event, so that kind of all together we're greater than just us individually trying to do this.
Absolutely. One thing that I wanted to ask her, Cynthia, is obviously I want to talk about some of the prizes that we're going to give away and stuff for people who want to participate. But outside of that, how do people actually, help in this case? How do they participate in the charity and maybe help out a little bit?
Yeah, so we're going to have prizes for the competition, obviously. So the top winners of that will win prizes. But for the charity event specifically, for anyone that donates at least $10 US towards one of the 4 charities, they will be entered to win a special draw. And we have over $4,000 US in prizes. So there's a ton of really amazing stuff. And, you're kind of basically getting a chance to win by doing good. So I think it's a win-win in that case. And all you have to do is send us the screenshot of your receipt, and then we'll enter your name in the draw. There's a landing page, which I believe you guys are going to include under the video, and then you can just go there and all the details are there of the sponsors and the prizes and how to participate.
And just get an understanding as well, to be clear, it's going to be basically a 4-way split between the charities, right?
Yes, that's right. Awesome. Yeah, so at the end, all of the money that we get for donations will just be split between the 4 charities.
That's awesome, Cynthia. Well, I think it's a really awesome thing. Again, not only is it the time of year to give in this case, but it's also, I think, really good for crypto to be able to showcase that we as a community can come together. We can do good. It's not always just about, again, trying to trade and invest in the market and stuff. There's a lot of good fundamental aspects to cryptocurrencies that uplift a lot of people. And I think one of the coolest things in this case is that we can all, in a sense, in a borderless nature, participate and support these really awesome initiatives. So, Cynthia, I appreciate you making the time and stuff. I'm so happy to see that you guys have been succeeding with Altcoin Fantasy. We need more of these tools for people who are early adopters into the space or just coming in for the first time. I mean, I know so many people who crypto is their first market, and it's just a world of difference than going into stocks or any kind of other market. So I think you guys are tackling something really good. But I appreciate you making the time, and let's see if we can do some good with this charity event. I'm very excited.
Awesome. So thanks so much, Nick. It was great chatting with you.
Awesome. If you guys want to also find some information as well on not only what Cynthia is doing at Altcoin Fantasy, you can check down below in the description. We'll leave a link to that. And for those of you who want to participate in the charity as well, help Cynthia and all the people who are helping to contribute to this, definitely check out the link down below and see if you can make a donation. Again, it's that time of the year, so hopefully we can all pitch in. I know we're going to pitch in as well here at Data Dash. But anyways, thank you very much, Cynthia. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, Nick. Bye.